These are my tuners. Have we stopped calling them machine heads? I don't know, everybody seems to call them tuners these days, which I think can confuse things when you're trying to buy an electronic tuner, but these are the tuners I've gone with. Now, like a lot of things on this guitar, this wasn't straightforward. The industry standard for the pitch of the posts, the distance between the posts on tuners, is 35 millimeters. And on my guitar, it's 36 millimeters. Now, I could have filled the holes on the headstock and re-drilled, but I decided to get these specially made, which actually didn't cost that much more. In fact, I'm not sure it cost any more. It just took 3 months to order them from Rubner. More of this in a minute, in Germany. And I'm glad I ordered these, because these will just slot in, subject to one small problem, which I'll come to. One problem in the ordering was I actually ordered oval buttons, and these are not the oval buttons. I don't know what they call these, but they are not oval. These are not the buttons I ordered. But I didn't want to send them back after waiting so long. I'd had to have waited another 3 months for them to come through. So that was a small issue. Incidentally, I went with nickel. I know the frets on my guitar are brass, and maybe gold might have been more appropriate, but gold looked very blingy. I did have an example set to just try out to see whether the 36mm were appropriate, and indeed they were. But they looked a little bit too blingy. And actually, looking at historical photos of other instruments of the period, and in fact another example of a Dorso guitar, slightly different model, but they had nickel tuners on them, so I went with the nickel. These are rather fancy engraved plate ones, which look rather nice. Now let me just talk about Rubner for a minute, because it's almost a happy accident. I could have gone with other companies, but I chose Rubner, and it actually turns out, this is more by accident than design, Rubner are based in Markneukirchen in Germany, which is a centre of lutherie in Germany, and it's where my Dorso guitar was made. And Rubner are an old company. They were around in the mid-1800s and would have been around when the guitar was originally manufactured. So it is possible that these are the same brand of tuners that were originally on the guitar. So they seem highly appropriate. The problem with these is when we try to put them on the headstock. As you can see, the fit is near perfect. There's no play. You can just about move it that way, but obviously once that's screwed in, it's perfect. There's no play up and down. The fit is perfect, and it's a perfect fit on the other side as well. The problem is when you try to put both in at the same time. The demo ones I tried from the Luthier Supplies people had shorter posts than these, and it never occurred to me there was an option on the size of the posts. However, we managed to get hold of some shorter posts, but we couldn't get hold of 6 posts. We could only get hold of 5 plus 1 brass one. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace 4 of them, which will move the holes back this way, so the holes will be more centralised with the shorter posts. But this hole here, for the longer one, I'm just going to lop a little bit off the end of the posts, and then this hole will be a little bit further in, so the strings will line up better. And I think that will be a good compromise. Just one thing, I wonder if anybody knows the answer to this. There seems to be an industry standard of having the worm gear above, the strings going this way, strings pulling on the bar that way. There seems to be a standard to have the worm gear this side of the peg, rather than, if we were to use the other one, having it that way round. Now on this guitar, if I was to have them this way round, there wouldn't be any clash in the holes, and all the original holes are still covered, so that would be a good way of doing them. And in fact, I've seen a picture of an old guitar, I think it was a Dorso, from the same period, with them that way round. But it seems that most people do them that way, and I can do them that way on this guitar, but there's going to be a slight clash of screw hole just here, and I think I may have to pre-fill the original hole before I drill a new one. I think the reason it's done this way is because when the strings are pulling on the post, they have a tendency to pull the gear away from the worm gear so it doesn't bind up. Possibly, if they were the other way round, the tension of the strings might be pulling this gear onto the worm gear and making this really, really tight and difficult to turn. I don't know. If they're well engineered, it probably shouldn't make any difference. And these really are well engineered. They're beautifully smooth. I don't know. Anybody got any thoughts? Let's make sure these are compatible. Oh dear. Oh, this is going to be vexatious. They aren't exactly the same size. But at least the screw thread's the same. Lovely. Okay. Well, this is going to be annoying. I'm going to have to file these all down. Let me try one of the others, just in case there's any difference in the tolerances. I think they're almost there, but I think they just need easing in. I think I've just got that stuck. Okay, this could be annoying. Okay. Snug, but I think that will do. Nice. Okay, that's not too much work. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. Let's do the others. So we still have a nice snug fit. And it fits nicely at the bottom. And we just need to take just a couple of millimeters off at the top. I've measured it, and the difference is 5 millimeters for both of them, so if we take 3 millimeters off both, that will do. Perfect. Before I screw the tuners in, I don't know whether you can see that there's a clash between this hole here and the hole that I need to drill, so I'm just going to fill that hole with a little bit of rosewood. This is just in case the super glue goes everywhere. Yeah, it's not the neatest job. I pushed the chisel across. What I should have done is shaved the chisel like that as I was going in, but it will do, but I could have done a neater job of paring it down. This is a 1mm drill, and I'm wondering whether even this is a bit on the big side, but let's try one first and see how we go with it. I'm just going to drill actually with the plate in place. Fiddly. Don't have any spare screws, so I really don't want to drop this and lose it. Go. gosh, fiddly's an understatement. Yeah, I don't know that I need a pilot hole, or I need a 0.5mm pilot hole. Let me try the end one without a pilot hole, see what happens. No, what I will do is I will just start the hole, drill it very, very shallow. Just to start the screw and see how I get on. Like I say, fiddly. Right, let's see how we get on with this time. Yeah, it feels more secure. I'm tempted to just hit it with a hammer to get it started, but I shouldn't do that. Come on, grip. There we go. It's finally grabbed. We're in. One down. Being a little bit more gentle with the brad all this time, just I only really need to make a small mark to locate the drill. Oh, that one went in much easier. Perfect. Now I know you're all shouting at the screen, string it up, we want to hear it. And so do I. But I need to go eat. I need to recover my composure and prepare myself for the mental torture of watching this thing explode. No, I hope it doesn't, but there is a little bit of work to do. I've got to get the bridge the right height. There is a little bit of setup, there's some intonation to do, but hopefully we will hear what it sounds like in the next video. So, do all the usual YouTube things like hitting like, subscribing, sharing the video, and let's hope we hear what it sounds like and the thing doesn't explode. Oh please, I want it to succeed. Bye.